So I'm sitting at home. I got the day off. We're gonna do some training in a little bit. But I was watching some videos last night. I want to talk about something I saw. So in one of the clips, it looked like it was a clip from Sean O'Malley's live stream where he was probably looked like he was at a computer or something. So I think he live streams when he plays Call of Duty, something like that. And he ends up saying to the camera, he's like, Ryan Garcia is live streaming with Jake Paul right now. I'm going to FaceTime him. So he FaceTimes Ryan or Jake, whoever it is, and they answer and they start talking. And the way I look at things, as much as I think about psychology and just the way people behave, in the call, immediately Ryan keeps over talking O'Malley. And something I've been noticing, I guess I notice it in myself a lot in conversation, it's like I'll let people over talk. They keep talking even though the stuff they're saying is fucking useless. They just keep talking, and it's like I stop to let them finish, and usually my sentence is much, much shorter and it has to be much more to the point. Well, that's the role O'Malley takes in this conversation. Ryan just keeps popping off with stuff. He says he can beat him in MMA and in boxing, and to where we're gonna get to this is where we get into what I want to make this video about. O'Malley then responds talking about MMA. He's like, you know that if we did an MMA fight, I could literally kill you in under a minute. And he goes on to say if it was a street fight, the same thing, he could kill him in under a minute. Kill Ryan Garcia in under a minute. This is something we see a lot in the MMA community. Recently, Francis Ngannou has said that to Tyson Fury when he was in the press conference going into Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua. Fury and Ngannou get to talking or chirping a little bit. Fury is in the crowd, so can't really hear everything he says, but Ngannou goes into basically saying he would kill him if it was a full-blown street fight, and the rules of boxing are what keeps him safe. Seen this in a lot of other cases. I feel like Dana had said Ronda would kill Floyd Mayweather if they got in a real fight. I know Dana said several fighters would kill someone not trained in the full profession. And for a long time, I believed stuff like that. Now this video, man, this might get a little dark. That wasn't the intent of my video. But if you put Ryan Garcia and Sean O'Malley in a cage in an MMA fight for a minute, I don't believe Sean O'Malley is going to kill Ryan Garcia. First, let's get into the idea of killing and fighting. That's something just a couple years ago, like literally less than 2. I don't want to get into details in case someone stumbles across this video. I don't like talking bad about people, because I don't feel like a lot of the conversations people are having with me, even though I interpret or break holes in it, that was never their interpretation when they're telling me this. But this man is much older than me, and he didn't know I was into MMA or anything. And as we're getting to know each other, he tells me that he did some cage fighting back in the day, which is then when I begin telling him that, this is what I live for. And I don't know if he ever actually did any cage fighting. I think he did some sort of martial arts training and stuff. But one day there's a third person in our party, and we're talking, and they're kind of asking about fighting. And the original gentleman gets to talking about the differences, and he's like talking about how I'm trained for competition and he's trained to kill. And I had to keep my mouth shut because I was like, oh God, here we go. And maybe in this video I'm trying to break down or articulate my thoughts there on this idea of killing and fighting. But to get some other context of the situation, the same gentleman, as I'm telling him that I'm into cage fighting, the day that I share that with him, he then informs me that I don't go to an MMA gym because they don't exist. Mind you, I had been going to an MMA gym for like 4 years at this point. It's strictly an MMA gym. And all of that is connected to the growth of the sport and how quickly it has grown. for the longest time, and I've referenced this in other videos, you didn't have an MMA gym. MMA stands for mixed martial arts. The UFC was a way to test martial arts because martial arts never went against each other. If you did karate, you never went against someone doing wrestling. Like, they didn't believe in each other. If you did karate, you didn't go to the boxing gym because the karate gym wouldn't take you back, and vice versa, things like that. No one really wanted to test their theory, because if your theory is wrong, then your business is going out of business. Who wants to learn an art that's not going to work? All right. So, if this gentleman had trained into how to kill people and then got in the cage and competed, why didn't he kill anyone? If there are martial arts out there that work in the manner of which they kill and will completely obliterate your opponent, why have we not seen them successful in MMA? Because they don't exist. That's not there. There's not any secret tricks to fighting, and it's a lot harder to kill a human being with your bare hands than just simply flicking a finger or touching a point. Now, the areas in where death could occur in MMA, obviously there's the freak moments where someone gets like bleeding on the brain and stuff, and it's horrific and it's tragic when we see that. But it happens occasionally in any sport where you're going to have combat. But to intentionally cause it, you need to like stop blood or airflow to the brain, get the heart to quit beating, getting into some technicalities. So most of the things that we would do to try to kill someone in MMA are going to be involved around the neck. So going back to Garcia and O'Malley, Garcia, if I understand right, is now a blue belt in BJJ. He just doesn't promote it a lot. I don't know enough to know if. So say you're a rich celebrity like Mark Zuckerberg. I can see in his training, and I'm not trying to put Mark down. I can see in his training, and you can see his excitement and love for the sport. That's why I don't want to put him down. How much of a pass he's getting from like top athletes like Alexander Volkanovski when he trains with them. How he's throwing a kick on way harder, but there's no way he's going to eat that same strength kick. But he's so new, he doesn't understand what he's doing. He's just trying. And really the downfall is the partner is not articulating enough back to explain it. But I don't know if I would. So if I were to watch Zuckerberg get handed a blue belt, I could say there is a possibility he is being handed it because of his celebrity status. Or of a go hard mentality where they're just, if Mark Zuckerberg is at the MMA gym with me, I'm not going to try to break his arm, but he might be trying to break mine, and I successfully go 3 minutes without getting tapped or something, and he's going 100%. He might get credit for that, although I'm holding back because I'm like, I don't want to fucking make the news for breaking Mark Zuckerberg's arm in practice. Does that make sense? And that can get rewarded sometimes because it's like effort is seen, control is not seen. Man, that's a smart line. I need to remember that. All right. Control is only seen when someone really understands. But getting back to the killing and everything, it would all go back to the neck. I don't think Garcia was probably handed a blue belt because of his status. I feel like Garcia puts a lot of work in. I don't think anyone would be scared to compete with Garcia at the BJ. Like if I had Garcia at the MMA gym, I still wouldn't be trying to break his arm. But if he started going hard with me, I'm going hard back because I know he's got enough fighting experience, even if it's not in grappling, that he should understand what hard is, or even more importantly, understand the change of intensity coming back to realize, hey, my training partner might be offended. Something like that. So I would say Garcia is probably a legitimate blue belt. With the money and status he makes, he's probably working with a pretty legitimate coach. So a blue belt from a coach like that is probably, could even be a purple belt from a shitty coach. And I don't want to say small town USA because I'm like in the small area and we got some good coaches in my area. But you get the idea, a coach that's not as good, not as accomplished, things like that. So to kill you, I really feel like you'd have to focus on the neck. In MMA, in the unified rules of MMA, you specifically can't gouge at the neck. Like, you can't drive your fingers into the trachea. That's actually a rule, but you can punch the neck if I remember correctly. I might need to verify that. I've never seen anyone penalized for punching the neck. You can't gouge at the eyes or put the fingers in any orifice in MMA, but you can absolutely choke someone. And we see it all the time. We see people pass out and the referees save them. So in a street fight, your main way to kill someone is going to be something to do with the neck, whether it's a triangle, a rear naked choke, gogoplata. The gogoplata, yeah. And then I guess the gogoplata could be from the top or bottom. You get the idea. I don't think we're going to see Sean O'Malley walk up and twist someone's head and snap their neck like we see in movies. And something else that was big, or I thought it was big in fighting before the growth of the UFC and true mixed martial art, is the idea of grabbing pressure points. I ran into a grappler once that randomly did that. I think some people told me that is legal in BJJ. I wasn't aware of that. We were at an MMA gym. It was the first time anyone did that, and he was high ranking where he was from, so I kind of felt like it was dirty, and I just slapped him away. Like, that's something else. Someone grabs your pressure point and you're fighting someone that's into fighting. Like, you're not. Ryan Garcia isn't new to pain. He understands. He's felt it and dealt with it. He understands to get out of a negative position in fighting, he has to fight back. So say you were to walk up and grab I don't know any pressure points, you know what I'm saying? But some reason in my head, maybe it was something, I feel like something in the military, they learn pressure points or whatever that can like make people fall to their knees. That doesn't fucking exist in the sense of someone's fighting back, because when they feel pain, they're going to strike back, and you've got a hand on them that's wide open for the strike. So, in summary, if you put a minute on the clock and you put Ryan Garcia and Sean O'Malley in a cage, there is no way. The only way O'Malley's killing anyone is if he gets a choke of some sort on Garcia. Do I think he's going to get a choke that quick on Ryan Garcia? It's possible. I mean, it's possible. But I don't even think that's the outlook that O'Malley would have had on. I think he's applying the logic of there's so much more into grappling. I don't even think O'Malley's recognizing that Garcia has gotten into grappling. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a big difference between a blue belt and a black belt. And yeah, technically when your sport has the opening of losing consciousness by losing all your air, you could kill someone. But to act as though it's a completely different, just dominant sport or ability is ridiculous. I think Garcia would have enough that he wouldn't kill anyone. O'Malley, there's no, it just wouldn't happen. And to add to the idea of how that's just a preposterous claim, someone in what's the proper term? I want to call it, I think it's called marksmanship. So it'd be the competitive sport of shooting, or like rifle shooting. They could literally say that if you got into their sport, they could kill us. Is that really an accomplishment of any sort? Because they can shoot a gun and kill it. Like, it overrides everything in MMA. So like this tough guy mentality of saying you can kill someone in MMA is so stupid. And I just it surprised me to hear that from O'Malley. I think he was probably caught up in the moment. As I referenced, Garcia kept talking over him. And I just didn't take O'Malley to be a person to say that. I expect people like Tank Abbott to say that are just hard-headed goofballs that they don't respect the art. They just want to look like a tough guy. They're not trying to discover or learn or create. They just want glory. I can see where people say that, but in all reality, in MMA, you're not gonna kill anyone, especially if it's a competition. And the refs doing their job, you're absolutely not going to be able to kill anyone. It just doesn't work that way, and that's a reality we've gotten to learn through the growth of mixed martial arts and the innovation of it. So I guess in summary today, watch the video on Ryan Garcia and Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley FaceTime Garcia. They get to talking crap to each other. O'Malley tells Garcia if they had an MMA fight, he would kill him. O'Malley would kill Garcia in under a minute, literally. Garcia did agree to an MMA fight. He said, let's do an MMA fight first and then a boxing fight. To which O'Malley then responded, all right, let me take care of Marab, and then me and you will do our thing. Whether they actually work it out, I don't know. But Garcia it seems like he would be willing to do it. He's kind of a loose cannon enough, and that would be an exciting fight to see. But anyways, I'm going to get ready for some training here in a little bit. Hope y'all have a wonderful